We've got the Mazda3 Sedan in this gorgeous red.
North of the border, it's called a Mazda, but let's get at it. We're in sport mode already. Andrea already jumped the gun.
Hit it! Whoa! Can you believe this?
We have driven this with the turbo version of this engine, and this engine, I think this is the one to get, to be honest.
This is it. Look at us go.
Well, all right, let's get into it. What's under the hood of this thing?
A 2.5-liter four-cylinder matched to a 6-speed automatic transmission, 191 horsepower and 186 pound-feet of torque. Front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive options are available.
As we mentioned, there is a more powerful version. It's the turbo version of this engine with 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque. That one comes standard with all-wheel drive. So we're going to touch on the 6-speed in just a moment. Right now, we're going to get into what do you get with this Mazda3? What are the key standard features?
The base trim comes with an 8.8-inch display with Mazda Connect, wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a 7-inch LCD display, 8-way manual driver's seat, 4-way manual passenger seat, heated front seats, cloth upholstery, 8-speaker audio system, push-button start, blind spot monitoring, and rear cross-traffic alert. In the U.S., heated front seats are not standard, but available on the 2.5S preferred model.
You'll see some shots of the gray Mazda3 GT we drove a couple of years ago. It still looks great. Well, we've already jumped the gun and put it in sport. What else can we put it in?
Gotta put it in S for subscribe, and if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the Couple Car Review, twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure to like and subscribe, but also follow along on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to see what's going on behind the scenes and to also get a question in. We'll tell you about that halfway through the video. And for me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button. Well, you know what, Andrea? We have driven the Corolla in the last few weeks. We've driven the Hyundai Elantra. Next week, we get the Nissan Sentra, and we have booked the Civic. So to all of the top players in the compact class. Now, I'm coming around to this one. I'm liking the fact that it's a little older. It's more my style. It's kind of analog, and I like it.
Well, this does have an analog cluster, and all the others have a CVT. This has got a 6-speed automatic transmission, which I think is just terrific for this vehicle. It shifts smoothly and quickly.
You know what? We have lots of people that dump on this because it's only 6 gears.
I know.
Why doesn't it have 8? Well, they came out with an 8-speed in the CX-90, and we didn't love it.
No.
I'll take this one. Also, we just had the Lexus IS available with an 8-speed and the 6-speed. The 6-speed better. So sometimes 6 speeds is just fine, thank you.
Just fine. Now, for those who know me, I am a huge Mazda fan. I mean, there is no doubt about this. And I think that this vehicle is really hard to beat in the non-luxury class. It's dynamic and engaging, heavier steering, everything that I like. It's like Mazda knows me.
Well, they know you, Andrea. They know you're a fangirl. And like I said, I've kind of coming around. We have the other ones to drive. We have driven the Sentra and the Civic before, of course. We know what it's like. But getting into this, I think the whole overview of this is a well-done car. It looks good. It's nicely finished on the inside. It's well-engineered. It's practical to a point. It's just something that, if you do it right the first time, you don't need to change it every 5 minutes.
This has got a McPherson strut front suspension and a torsion beam rear suspension. Coming up in our hot topic, someone asked about the torsion beam, so stick around for that. It also comes with G Vectoring Control Plus, and that is standard on this model. And that this sedan has available all-wheel drive, or the other models are front-wheel drive.
Now, the only other ones are the Impreza, which is a hatchback, and the Corolla Hybrid, but that's not a mechanical all-wheel drive. That's just all-wheel drive. This is a big deal for northern climates. All right, the looks of it, as I mentioned, you come up with a good design, it holds up and it stands the test of time. This is still a good-looking car today compared to even when it came out several years ago.
It's elegant. It still looks really refined to the exterior. It doesn't have all of that black cladding that we see on Mazda SUVs. This has got 5.5 inches of ground clearance and comes standard with LED headlights, LED rear combination lights, standard 16-inch wheels, available 18-inch, and a temporary spare tire.
Now, available features include a gloss black grille, black accents, larger exhaust outlets, and black 18-inch wheels.
Well, everything that we would expect from Mazda is in here. It has a really elegant interior. It's simple, very simplistic design. We've got the larger 10.25-inch display screen with Mazda Connect and navigation on our model. This comes with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and when you use this feature, the screen actually becomes a touch screen. Now, it does sit quite a ways back from the driver, so I only use it when the vehicle is parked. Mostly I use the center console dial.
I like the dial. I'm into the dial. This is right in line with what they're trying to do at Mazda with having vehicles that are more upscale than many of their competitors. And I would say the materials and the way this is put together is better than pretty much all of the competitors. I'm trying to think of one that would be nicer than this at this price tag, but I can't think of one. Dash pad, soft padding, you've got the stitching there, a very slight touch of piano black in the center console. It looks elegant and sophisticated, to Andrea's point. It's really well put together.
The trims are very good in Canada. You've got front wheel drive and all wheel drive options, and this top GT trim model that we're driving comes with a non-turbo or the turbocharged engine. In the US, not so much. Your trims are not so great. The first 3 trims are all front wheel drive, and then if you want to get all of these features that we have in this GT model, it's a turbocharged engine.
That's it?
Yeah, not available with the non-turbo.
So that's an interesting thing, because Mazda in Canada as a share of market does very, very well. And one of the biggest shares of market is in the province of Quebec. This brand has almost like a cult following there. So I think the brand overall is more popular in the Canadian market, especially for the smaller cars. And you can see they offer more trims. That's a trend in the US though. They always want to sell you something bigger.
I also want to say that the cabin remains quite quiet even on the highway, which is not always common for this segment, especially in the non-luxury category. Lots of storage too for a sedan. The door pockets are quite wide, and the center console storage unit is fairly deep. Not bad for a sedan.
Now, available features include a heated steering wheel, a moonroof, wireless charger, 12-speaker Bose sound system, a powered driver's seat with lumbar support, a 360-degree monitor, front and rear parking sensors. So here's me getting in the back seat. This is tight. There is not a lot of leg room. Headroom is adequate. This isn't the biggest in this class.
Comparing the Mazda3 Sedan to the Honda Civic, the Mazda gets 42.3 inches of front row legroom, which is the same as the Civic. Second row legroom at 35.1 inches falls short to the Honda by over 2 inches. Trunk space at 13.2 cubic feet is a little bit smaller than the Civic, but not by much.
As always, excellent questions, so let's get at it.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Is the manual transmission offered on higher trims or all-wheel drive? Unfortunately not in this sedan. There is no manual option anymore, but in the hatchback.
Yes, you got to get the hatchback, and it's only available on the top non-turbo engine. If you want the turbo and the all-wheel drive, it's automatic only. So really, it's only one trim. Hatchback, top 2.5 liter.
And you can see many manufacturers are getting away from the manual transmission. The Jetta, for example, it's the last year for it for 2024. Only the GLI will have it, and I wonder how long that will be around for. But at least you can get it in the hatchback. I would love to see it in this model. Love your show. A big fan of yours. Thank you. Well, what do you think the hatchback Mazda3 versus the Honda Civic latest model? Which one would you pick? What would be your choice?
Well, it depends on what you're using it for. If you're just a couple and you don't need to use the back seat often, and you don't need a lot of cargo area, it's just a commuter car or a second car. So this would be a great product in the hatchback. But if you're using the Civic for more than that, if you're taking people regularly in the back seat, if you're using the cargo area regularly, it's not even a contest. The Civic wins. It's just way bigger.
Now, this has got a 6-speed automatic transmission. The Civic is CVT. You may prefer an automatic transmission. This is more engaging to drive. Don't get me wrong. Anyone who has watched our Civic review knows how much I like the Civic, but this is just more fun. So if you don't need the space, this is for me. If I need the space, I'm going for the Civic.
Also, the Civic has independent rear suspension, and this has a torsion beam. We're going to pick up on that in just a moment in our hot topic.
Would appreciate your thoughts on seat comfort and visibility. I actually find these seats to be quite comfortable for me, and visibility in the sedan is very good, especially compared to the hatchback.
I like the hatchback idea, like I'm a big hatchback fan. But between the hatchback, Mazda 3 sedan and hatch, this wins for functionality. The windows are bigger down the side. Visibility out the back is better.
Yeah.
It feels a little bigger. That one feels claustrophobic. For me, this is the winner.
Same here.
And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
How's the ride? It has a torsion beam rear suspension, probably for cost reasons, but I'm worried about its impact to handling and ride quality.
So I was all in on the way you're thinking years ago. When you had a solid rear axle or a twist beam or a torsion beam rear suspension, when you'd go over uneven pavement, you get what was called axle hop. Like the dividers in the highway,
Yeah.
da-da-dum, 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 and the back wheel would hop over those. They've tamed all of that stuff. It's amazing how with the Jetta, it also has a torsion beam, same thing. You would never know with this.
When we drove the CX-5 and the CX-50 has a torsion beam rear suspension as well. I can't tell the difference between the two. Mazda has done such a good job with calibrating it. I think that you will be hard pressed to tell the difference.
You get 10 people, you drive the Civic, you drive this, you go back and forth.
Yeah.
They probably couldn't tell you either. All right, let's get into the fuel economy, the warranty, and more in our vital stats.
Let's start with pricing. We'll do Canada first and then move on to the US. The first front-wheel drive model is just over $26,500, and the GT Turbo just over $39,000. In the US, the first front-wheel drive model starts at just over $24,000, and the Premium Plus all-wheel drive turbocharged model is just under $35,500.
Here's the fuel economy for this 2.5 liter, 8.9 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 6.6 on the highway. That's 26 miles per gallon city, 35 miles per gallon highway. Mazda offers a warranty of 3 years with unlimited kilometers in Canada, 3 years and 36,000 miles in the United States. So people are back to looking at compact cars. What else can you buy?
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the Volkswagen Jetta with a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, 158 horsepower, and a starting price just over $26,000.
The Kia Forte with a 2-liter 4-cylinder, 147 horsepower, and a starting price of $23,500.
The Honda Civic with a 2-liter 4-cylinder, 158 horsepower, and a starting price of just under $29,000.
The Toyota Corolla Sedan with a 2-liter 4-cylinder, 169 horsepower, and a starting price just over $26,000.
So there are 4 sedans for you to consider.
Lightning round, 2 things we like, 2 things we like to see improved.
I really love the way this handles. It's so engaging.
I like the 6-speed automatic.
What I'd love to see in this sedan on this GT model, a manual transmission.
And I'll say it for Andrea, power passenger seat. Well, that's it for the Mazda 3 review.
Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment.